Okay, let's go ahead and here we go. Welcome back. Good morning. And apologies for that. Some toothpaste. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm your boy Western Mike, and coming at you with another edition. This morning is just another update about my cutback slash quit alcohol journey. Already discussed with you guys recently that kind of accidentally quit, but I'm also still kind of in the process of quitting alcohol. One piece of advice is that would give if could is you could just listen to yourself. You don't have, if you have a really big problem with it, well then maybe cold turkey is the best. No, yeah, don't feel bad if you go cold turkey, especially on any kind of bad habit. But also, if you think that it's doable, um, you could just give yourself time and listen to your needs. So I'm still doing this sometimes, once or twice a week tops, but that's it. I'm really introverted, so I'm really not someone who you'll see in the bar every single night. Um, some people can do that. I'm like, if I were you, I would be, peeing my pants. But no, yeah, those are pros. Those are athletic drinkers. But but yeah, I'm somebody who's trying to be more of an active, mobile kind of guy. And whenever have seen that something has really, even last night was saying this, was telling people this, was saying, you know, I have to get up. I have to be active even when I'm being rather passive, because I'm gonna get distracted. I don't like to be distracted. I don't like to be bogged down too much. So that's what we're trying to build this life around. So even if I'm going to drink again, it's going to be something contained, and then even when I'm containing it, I'm still going to try to be active. So yeah, if I ever drink again, I'm going to stand instead of sit, if possible, or just get up and do stuff every few minutes. Um, and if I drink again, I'm gonna go ahead and go keep it to around three or four, once or twice a week. Did that last night. Did that last night. Didn't even have five drinks, so kept it at the limit last night. Had two champagne, had two flutes of champagne, so had two champagne flutes, a a red, so that's three. Had a couple of Vissi. You could say that both of those were, um, you know, bartenders, bless their hearts. You could say some said that it was a little bit more than a drink. Others said it was a little bit less than a standard drink. So I gotta go ahead and believe that one. It was less than a standard drink. So that gets you up to four. And then had one more drink. Did forget. So even in moderation, did forget something. Forgot not to be sober at the dive bar, but still had only one drink, and that was about one drink. So no, I didn't even have five drinks last night, not even on Friday. And instead of also another update, instead of order anything, and this is a really good trick that I've learned myself, for anybody who's really trying to contain this. Uh, and instead of get six packs, especially if you're by yourself, maybe you can just bring a beer back or something from the bar. If you don't want to bring a six pack back, especially because that's more money, you might not even like the beer. You might not even like the beer. Well, then You could just, instead of buying a whole 6 pack and waiting for it for half an hour, you could just go ahead and bring a beer back from town. You don't have to order a whole 6 pack, especially if you're by yourself. Even in moderation, I'm getting getting shaking again this morning, getting a little bit of raspiness again this morning. So yeah, even in a small amount, guys, this stuff is a pain in the ass. Bartenders do not expect you to drink. You do not have to drink. At most, we'll drink probably once or twice a week. And next week, YouTubers telling me to do this. Next week is not only next week is going to be an alcohol off week. So next week I'm on alcohol by week. So yeah, that's for me. No, yeah, you did the moderation. So now you can go. Now you can go a while. Now you can go a while. This is something where you're like, you know what? Have done it. There's kind of a quote from the TV show Suits where Jessica says to Harvey, "You've been to the mountaintop." That's and there's also a quote from the movie Passengers, where the bot tender, he says, he says, now it's a little out of place, but it still makes sense for the movie. He says, "You're tripping about where you need to be instead of focused on where you are." Alcohol speaks volumes about that. Every time you drink, you're going to be like, okay, this is kind of nice, but have done it so many times. Was enjoying it last night. Have to tell you, friendly people. Was kind of upset about this a little bit earlier. My bad. It's just I was kind of ranting a little bit. It's just what the. No, it's just deal with some crazy neighbors. It's just they should probably stay off alcohol. But also, alcohol is not that exciting. There have been plenty of times when have finally gotten to my table at 5:30 because that's almost 6 o'clock. Plenty of times have finally gotten my drink, and it's just, what do I do now? What now? What do I sit for an hour? What do I keep spending money I don't really have? Not sure. So yeah, this is going to be probably the last 2 days for a while, and I'm just going to do for this what I was doing for other things. You know what? Probably another good tip for trying to quit and trying to get back to the sober life you miss. Maybe just, doing breaks, but doing breaks intermittently. Doing breaks intermittently instead of maybe trying to do it all at once. Because yeah, if you figured out moderation, then that's good, and that means that you know what it's going to be. You know what's going to be every time. It's always the same thing every time. No, yeah, it's always the same thing. I like this drink, but it could be maybe a little bit better. Shouldn't I? I'm running out of time saying that I just simply just don't drink. I just want to, fuck around in the house. So the biggest, most depressing thing about drinking alcohol is that you're not doing something else. Really, that's besides the delirium tremens and all that stuff. Uh, the most depressing thing about this is that you're not doing something else with your time. You're not. You're doing. You could even end up kind of being something that you're not. Was kind of ranting about that earlier too. It's just not only just boundary issues, but also being someone who you're not. Why is everybody always being something that they're not? It's just why? Just gosh. Yeah, that's embarrassing, and I don't want alcohol to, embarrass me. Also, you don't owe alcohol a perfect night. Alcohol has not ever owed you a perfect night. But also, there was a kind of Johnny Drama victory last night, and that was that I completed all my alcohol purchases. So I did not leave my card anywhere. I didn't stiff any bartenders, and I think that that's probably a minimal moral victory for this guy. No, yeah, I definitely do not want to do that. No, yeah, and then people find out other things about you too, like you're going around, you're out hassling people, especially near the high school, or you're or you keep growing everybody. It's just people are not going to want to associate with you. People are going to want to contact you no more. People are going to sever ties with you, like a pissed off haberdasher. So. Alcohol is something that yeah, that should be back burner, not front burner. That should be yeah. I didn't even have 5 drinks. I had 4 drinks, so I cut my consumption from last week. Last night, that is. It's still the same this week, but for last night at least. And if I don't have that beer later tonight, if I just maybe say just throw it out, or maybe I drink some of it but don't finish it. Um, Yeah, I would say that basically, once again, breaking news, cut my alcohol consumption in half again, for the week. So yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, and then those mini bottles. That would be about 4. That would be 4, and then the other mini bottle that would be about 5. So that was 4. That was 4. So that was really only one more above 3. And then last week was 6. This week was 3 so far. Don't have that beer. Uh, if you have that beer, that makes it about 5 for the weekend. That's still less than last week. But then if you don't have the beer, then you basically had 4, which is really, or yeah, you had about 5, which is 4, but that's still only one more above the light drinking amount for the week, which is 3. So yeah, basically cut my alcohol consumption in half again. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now maybe at worst had 7 drinks last night. That's entirely possible too. That had 7 drinks, but one champagne, red wine, and then if you count everything all as one drink, just prosecco, and then jame. Um, oh shit. I didn't even have 7 drinks last night. Still had the recommended. Even if you count all of it, still had only the recommended amount each week, which is not 14 drinks. 14 standard drinks is a lot, and some people, end up having 18 standard drinks per week. 18. Um, Talking like super binging here. Um, I hope those people can overcome their addiction. I want them to. I want them to. Because there is a sweetness on the other side. But yeah, I basically cut my alcohol consumption in half 2 weeks in a row now, and I basically either had the recommended amount of 14 units per week again. That's also what they suggest for an occasion. Uh, but also I had maybe only one more than the recommended weekly light drinking amount. So basically, once again, yeah, cut my alcohol consumption by half again. Bragging rights. Good for you to brag once in a while, Michael. Thank you. Good job. Good job. But yeah, I think it's a good way to at least enjoy it sometimes, but then not let it get the best of you. What's great about having only 6 drinks, even one night, is that well, that just means that you didn't even have one drink every night on average. So yeah, I gotta do that. At most 6, maybe 7 at most, but definitely not even 14 standard drinks compared to, I'm gonna believe in the half that, yeah, like 6 units at most, but definitely not spread it. I don't really necessarily agree with the whole spread it out over a few days. Well, because that means it becomes more frequent. The more days you drink, the more frequent it becomes. So the more days that you drink out of the week, the more often you're doing this, and then the more accustomed you're getting to it. If you only do it once or twice a week, that's so much time that you're still saving to be doing other stuff. Um, and if you already are kind of like me, you're trying to learn how to do things a little bit less often, then you probably want to go ahead and see how long you can go without this and see if you can not struggle, because the more you do it, the harder it's going to be. The more exposed to it you get, the harder it's going to be. The longer it's going to take you to cut back. So yeah, the more days you do it, the more accustomed you get to it, and the more difficult it is going to be to cut back, because you're going to just be jumping around in your brain trying to figure out, uh, how much should I do this? What else could I be doing right now? So either quit now or just cut back and listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. But also, if you think that you're ready, if you think you've had enough, if you think you're ready, and you just want to embrace and allow the more exciting future, well, then you can. Thursday night after work, it was 2 o'clock anyway, but went to a couple wine bars after work in the city on Thursday. Was still back by the time that one of my buses would have gotten to the bus stop. That's crazy. Um, but on Thursday was even still just going to wine bars, but didn't have anything to drink. Had NA drinks. Still got a buzz. NA drinks are, they already have some alcohol in them. You have to moderate them anyway. So might as well. I mean, everybody has their limit, and for me, honestly, probably prefer the NA drinks, because even just the limit of 300 calories from alcohol a week, why not just knock it down to not even 100 calories from alcohol a week? Would you rather have if you could have 200 calories as your one treat all week, would you rather that be alcohol or a nice ice cream sando? Or a nice ice cream sando. Gonna Not sure whether to freeze the beef, because not sure if I'm going to make that beef. Oh yeah, we'll probably make that beef with my salmon later on. Yeah, so later on, I'm finally back to doing salmon pasta. Salmon pasta, not mac, not. Although that's delicious too, and really appreciate people making that for me. Uh, but not salmon mac and cheese, salmon pasta. I'm going to be making my salmon pasta at starting tonight at 5 o'clock. Yes, back. And yeah, going to do that. So then the salmon pasta, we'll do that. I did go out last night. Hopefully everybody had a good time. But yeah, no, don't want to be going out quite so often. The more you do it, the harder it is to undo it. So no, it tricks you. It tricks you. It's a trap. But yeah, even alcohol in small amounts, you can get kind of a maybe not maybe kind of a nice aftertaste, but also an aftertaste kind of reminding you like, hey, this is kind of strong. It probably better if you do this either in small amounts or not that much, not that much. And yeah, I'm very introverted, so I don't want this to turn me into something I'm not. I don't want to be shouting, hey, bro, at total strangers like a psycho. No, yeah, I don't want to do that. Please do not speak to me that way. But yeah, I'm gonna do that salmon pasta later on tonight, and that will be cool. Miscellaneous Brew Reviews says cheers. Cheers to you too. Cool, cool. And also Miscellaneous says I'm still going from last night. Huh? Nice, man. Get that. You're doing the hair of the dog. But yeah, please careful with that, because no, yeah, the number one reason day drinking is your enemy is because again, just the more you do it, the more tough it's going to be to undo it. Alcohol is a sugary, processed, fast food drug. Alcohol is a sugary, processed drug, and there is a startling link between it and foods such as fast food, greasy food that could be good, but it's kind of greasy, not something that you want to be doing all the time. So consider this. If you are, as other YouTubers have called it, a frequent drinker, not even just heavy, even just frequent, that means also you're going to be a frequent grease eater. That means you may also be a frequent taker of other drugs. So this is what this is just what it does. It's just what it does. It tricks you, even in moderation. As Reddit said, and definitely agree with Reddit on here. Hope I'm allowed to. Reddit said that alcohol always goes down a little bit rough at first. So half the time, think this is just a battle of the minds, and it's also just a battle between this shoulder and this shoulder, and you don't have to do it. Here are these ants again. No, yeah, I'm trying to be nice to the ants, but also I'm trying to keep this house sane. Shout out, Drew, anybody, if you have an ant infestation, because we're getting that again. So it rains and it rains and it rains. And then the narrow survivors of that catastrophe then now have to deal with ants in their house, maybe even in their bed. So I'm going to go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Leave a comment in the comments section. Subscribe if you dare. Welcome to Western Mike. Welcome back, Drew. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. And yeah. It's just alcohol can be good, but that you're sitting around sipping, and then also that first sip is also always so startling. It's always either a little bit rough or a little bit way strong. People calling me, appreciate that. Gonna call them back. No, yeah, I'm not hungover. I'm not. Hope Miscellaneous and everybody isn't either, but I'm not hungover this morning, so that's pretty good. Have a beer on the counter, but not gonna have it yet. Thought had to go into town. Don't have to. Paid my card. Paid all my purchases, so didn't stiff anybody. Didn't do any of that shit. I felt like maybe kind of invited myself over to the dive bar a little bit there, but wanted to see everybody, wanted to socialize with everybody. So, yeah, just want this to be a responsible thing here, and yeah, this is not it's not really a hobby to me. To me, hobbies are active things, and even if I'm being lazy and stuff like that, I'm not. I'm not going to. I'm not going to, be occupied by a bottle or by a green bottle or a big can. I'm just not going to do that. Was having to do all this stuff. Was drinking to try to be cool. Was drinking to try to be cool. Was doing a lot of this stuff because was trying to use a timer to see how long could go between sips, and was also just counting and counting and counting and counting. So probably had about 500 or 400 calories last night. And to me, would rather do that with just like a nice ice cream or something like that at the end of the week. That's a lot nicer than you think. It can be cool to go a whole week. Really miss counting the weeks. Really miss doing that a lot. And I don't want to do that again. So that'd be good. No, yeah, I'm not cutting back to keep going. I'm cutting back to quit. And if you keep cutting back, there's always that lingering outcome that you binge a little, and then for sure you have to cut back. So that's just more time. I'm trying to quit drinking because I'm running out of time to be able to say that I don't drink. Okay, so the more days you do it, even if it's in a way, even if it's a weekend, that's just less days that you had to say that you didn't drink. So if you want to drink, if that's your thing, enjoy it. But if you want to eventually quit, you can maybe cut back for a while. But cutting back implies that you want to keep on doing something. And, cold turkey, maybe not the best approach, but that could be good for after you cut back. Yeah, so maybe people should cut back for a while, but then afterward they can go cold turkey. And that's not really cold turkey because you cut back and then you know the whole experience, and you come to know what you're about. So checking the time here, so we're about half an hour in, but it took me a while to do some stuff. So I was brushing my teeth. Um, was brushing my rat teeth. Um, yeah, just hopefully, yeah, I want this to be, a mobile experience. How can you mobilize your alcohol? Well, you can just make sure that it's just not, at the forefront of your mind. And you can do other things most of the time during the week. Resign day drinking, resign weekday drinking. Did both of those. So if it's a weekday, just gonna have some NA drinks, and that will be enough. Um, but also, if it's the weekend, I'm not gonna drink every single weekend. Not only I'm not gonna party every single weekend, I'm also not gonna drink every single weekend. The more frequently you do it, the harder it's going to be. So the more when was binging, could not even think about remotely going sober. But now that I'm doing this in a more manageable, reasonable amount, especially from the standpoint of calories, it's a little bit easier. It's a future that can definitely foresee. Can definitely foresee a future without alcohol, because alcohol even reminds you every time, hey, this is a little strong. This isn't your savior's wine. So, and you're not expected to drink alcohol at the bar. If anything, it's pretty cool if maybe you are sober, especially at the bar. No, yeah, I think after this weekend, that was a pretty good weekend. So thinking maybe even just do it there. So yeah, even wine bars. I'm not going to drink in public at all, at all. Yeah, I'm going to stop doing that. Um, And from now on, we'll just drink. We'll just have a glass or three at a friend's holiday BBQ. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Yeah, yeah, that'll work. I'm tired of drinking in public. Um, want to go, yeah, want to basically condense this now, because have already moderated so many times. It's like, do you really even need to remember your last sip? You remember your last sip. It's strong. Either it's kind of bad or it's kind of strong. So no, yeah, even alcohol is telling you don't, at least definitely don't make a sport of this. So yeah, I gave up day drinking, gave up weekday drinking, gave up binge drinking, and now a new project. I'm going to give up public drinking in public. Why? Because I see that drunk in public is particularly a problem in Marin County. And I don't want to be another statistic. So, no, yeah, I'm basically done drinking in public. I'm not going to drink in public anymore. Now, that's another thing is, I'm not really paying attention to these movies in that way. In the movies, you hardly ever see the main character drinking alcohol at the end of the movie. So yeah, they drink, but not at the end. So it's basically they all just quit drinking. It's like smoking. It's like fast food. You could just have an NA drink, and that still has some alcohol in it. So what are you really missing out on? Um, it's expensive. You're constantly tripping about it, and it's just yeah, it's not really worth it that much. So. No, yeah, even if I'm at the nice, comfy wine bars, I'm still not going to drink in public anymore because I want to be like other YouTubers. And then that also helps me start to really get back. Let's go back to that. Okay? Okay. Let's go back to counting weeks and yeah, I can do that. So yeah, what was making kind of excuses was saying, "Oh, well, you could still drink on Friday, you could still drink on Saturday." This might be my last drink tonight. I'm not going to think about it until around 6 o'clock. It'll be a whole other hour. It'll be all this sipping. It'll be all this, changing your mind. And I don't really want to do that, especially not around other people, especially not around certain people. So, yeah, basically just quit drinking in public. Breaking news, Michael Goldsmith quits drinking in public, even though he could have done that an hour ago. So, no, yeah, that pisses me off about drinking. Boy, does that piss me off about drinking, guys. Just how much time it is, and then that also means that that's just more days that you weren't sober, or even just more weeks that you weren't sober. So, even in moderation, I'm dealing with inflammation here. Um, inflation nation. I'm dealing with a lot of that stuff. Alcohol is no, yeah, it's just it changes you. Kind of also already done trying to impress others. I'm done with that. Um, yeah, because that's not an attractive personality trait. Constantly trying to impress others, people pleasing, approval seeking, especially that wasn't even granted, that wasn't even requested. Um, learn to speak when spoken to. That's something that I have learned. Um, and yeah, just really, really miss sober weeks. Really miss being able to go a whole week. And miss, going somewhere and being in that environment, but doing something else. That's really quite awesome. And also the movie Ad Astra really got me sober curious. So might have this last beer tonight, but might not even do that. It'll be at home. It'll be at home, and that'll be good. But yeah, and I'm not even drinking at home. So no, yeah, I might still drink during a holiday party. But besides that, I'm not gonna keep any alcohol in the house. No how. And yeah, I was basically doing this in a way where I was kind of already going toward this. Okay, I was already moving toward this point. So this actually could be the last weekend of drinking in public. Yes, might still go back out and say, I'm back. I want some more. But even several glasses of wine, um, drinking in moderation is 1,000 calories. Drinking in moderation will cost you $100. Kind of like the character in GTA. Shit cost me almost $200, man. Yeah, it's just, do you want your money, and do you want to just be clear-headed all the time or not? Um, you could have a drink maybe during a holiday party. You could maybe do that, or but not. I don't even think that this is worth it from a weekly standpoint. Think unless you're really doing something with your friends, and even then you could just be sober. Um, really just like counting weeks without it. Really miss that. Really miss that a lot. Miss that a lot. So I miss the sobriety more, and then I get a kick out of that. Um, than I do drinking, because every time it's drinking, it's like, oh, it's this again. So my head does that. My head is like, it's been a while, Michael. But then it's like, yeah, well, don't you remember last time? So it's a trick. It tricks you. Alcohol tricks you. Alcohol tricks you. And even alcohol tells you that, you really should not be doing this. So I guess I'm just going to listen. You shouldn't really be doing it. I already don't smoke. I already don't do drugs. Other drugs, not just drugs, but other drugs. Why do people say alcohol and drugs? Why don't they just say, drugs like alcohol? Why? Why are people doing that? God, it's all the same. And yeah, if every time I'm doing this, and then getting cravings for food that don't really want in my body, uh, um, well, just screw that. Screw that. I think it's kind of cool to my I envy my friends who can just run around the bar like crazy and be active all night instead of hunched at the frigging counter. I don't really like doing that either. It seems passive, and would rather just hang out near the pool tables or just have something that's not booze. That's my treat. That's my treat. Having something that's not booze and making counting weeks without it. Really miss that. Um, a lot of people don't even like when cravings come up, probably because they know that it's bullshit. And even alcohol says, hey, you shouldn't really even be thinking about this. We admit it. You shouldn't really. This is kind of a misnomer. So, is it worth it? Nah. No. It's not worth it. Drinking in public, not worth it. Why would you do it? Harassment. Um, harassment. Neighbor drama. Why would anybody want to drink in public? It doesn't make any sense. Um, Probably you're drinking in public. It is really, from my experience, it is really easy to get into a binge around other people, and that's scary. That's really scary. So I might have that last beer tonight, but I'm not going to have it. Maybe not socially. Might take it to the park or something like that, and at least be somewhat social. But might not even do it. Might not even do it. It's just all the people who have seen do it. They've pretty much all quit. And if you moderate, well, that means that you've been to the mountaintop. So yeah, just don't really see. And then even red wine, which is pretty good, it's still, you don't have to. Just because something's on the shelf does not mean you have to purchase it. Red wine already has still over 100 calories, 125 to be exact. So that means 2 red wines already 300 calories. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, it's just would I rather have my 400 calories from wine or from just a nice ice cream sando? I can't have both. Ice cream sando. Would rather have that. That's pretty cool. Used to do that. Used to do that a lot, where it would just make it toward the end of the week, and then all would do is just eat an ice cream sando and enjoy it. And that was my night. So I missed that night. No more drinking in public. I'm going to be sober in public. Yeah, because even in moderation was making some mistakes last night. Some. I had an alcoholic beverage at the dive bar. I should have stayed sober. And I went there technically an odd week, but have been kind of trying to give a lot of places a break lately, especially because of my binging. I have been trying to give places a break lately after my binging. I want to do that. Yeah, it can be nice to hang out in the bar, but yeah, just be active and run around like crazy. While watching my friends do that was hilarious. But then I was hunched over at the counter all night. Yeah, so even that is just giving me kind of a reaction. And also, I like bars, but I don't like sitting at the counter because you're kind of high up, and it can feel kind of vulnerable, right? It can feel a little vulnerable. So yeah, kind of miss just drinking NA drinks wherever I go, especially so that I can be mobile, and also miss the sacred practice of doing anything you can to avoid harassment. And that means, especially these days, especially if you're introverted, maybe just not drinking in public. So if you're introverted, you're probably not a drinker. If you're active, busy, you're probably not a drinker. Just accept it. You're not a drinker. Might still have it at a party sometimes, but I'm done drinking in public for now, for the foreseeable future. Because public can bring about binge drinking, and don't want to do that. And also, I want to be aware of my surroundings with a clear head, preferably, especially on Friday and Saturday, but at all times. Don't want to do drugs anymore. Might have that one beer later on, but might not. Yeah, because times are tough. Even champagne is kind of meant for a celebration. So really, the only thing that I liked was champagne, but even that is just really for a celebration. It's so strong that it's kind of reminding you, hey, this is really stuff This is really only the stuff of celebrations. You got nothing to celebrate, lay off. So maybe that's all alcohol. Yeah, no, I'm not a drug person. I'm just not. It's not in me. It's not in my blood. It's not in my DNA. That's what one character in a movie said. It's not in my DNA. My ribosomes probably are pretty averse to alcohol, because even when I've done this in moderation, it's been somewhat unpleasant. And you have to focus on the whole experience, not just the sitting around and sipping, not just the go all that way for nothing, but you also have to think about tomorrow. You have to think about tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, cramps. Tomorrow, what you could have saved, lost savings. And yeah, I'm running out of time here, so yeah, I quit. I quit drinking. I quit drinking in public, maybe sometimes at a holiday party, but that's it. I quit drinking, and I'm going to do this challenge. I'm going to do this challenge now. Not just weeks off alcohol, but I'm going to do this challenge now because I liked the NA drinks. I liked the NA drinks. Sue me more. So I liked them more. Also, that whole experience was way more pleasant than the experience of imbibing alcohol. So, yeah, you could do that. Just because it's Friday, you could do that then too. And that's going to be really, really nice. So, yeah, alcohol is not really like weed, but weed is also another drug too. You have to remember that it's all drugs, okay? But NA drinks are kind of like weed. So yeah, because it kind of got a nice buzz off of NA drinks. Yeah, holy shit. So it tricks you. It tricks you. Red wine can be nice, it's also bubbly, so it's cool how red wine will be dark like syrup, but then it will also have some bubbles in it. So that's some bubbly too. But also just that can be a lot of calories, and also that's sugar. So don't want to put quite so much sugar in the system. Don't want to do that. That just screams to me diabetes a la carte. So no, yeah, just don't want to drink anymore. At least don't want to drink in public anymore. In my house or in public anymore. So yeah, basically just finally quit. Finally. No, I don't want to do that anymore because don't want to be thinking about diabetes. Just don't want to do it. If it doesn't have it, we'll drink it. But if it has it, if it basically has diabetes in it, yeah, probably gonna pass. Oh yeah, it's like thanks, did it. It was enjoyable, but now we can all have some sober conversation. So how can you make this transition from frequent to infrequent drinking? Just keep looking for excuses not to do it. Look for excuses not to do it. Also, you have to be a little bit more of a judging personality than a perceiving personality, at least when it comes to this stuff. So I'm more perceiving, but when it comes to my health, I am easily more of a judging personality. So when you get me on something, I'm on it. Hopefully not that. No, yeah, sorry, I was kind of ranting a little bit earlier this morning. I was just like, what the fuck? Because, yeah, I was dealing, I guess, with the effects of alcohol and stuff like that even before I was doing it. You're about to go do it, and then you're already seeing the effects of it all day long. And then it's like, really? Is that really what I want to be doing? And also, all bartenders pretty much don't drink. So, no, yeah, it's time. It's time. Also, yeah, it is a drug, and every time I have been coming off of this drug, it just withdrawal has been really pretty bad. So, Yeah, I'm gonna do this one last beer later tonight. And then after that, I think we are probably a go for uh, sober living, so that you can be minimal and still drinking alcohol, but in such a small amount that it's basically next to nothing. Next to nothing. You will always be around alcohol, whether you like it or not. But what you can do is you can say, you know what, I just like to have things that aren't alcohol. I like to have my, you know, coffee in the morning, but then in the evening, that doesn't mean that I have to have anything in the evening. I can just save time and money. And then I was already kind of doing that in the morning, right? So if you choose, not only for the morning, but if you choose tea in general, tea will, congratulations, you just replaced this thing, and you may stick to that. I miss that. I miss just doing the tea, not only in the evening time while working on my computer, something that a lot of people do for various reasons, but also I miss just doing. I, I miss saying, you know what, I had my tea for the day, but that doesn't mean that I need an alcoholic beverage now. Not everything has to correspond to something else. And main characters are they sit at a coffee shop with some tea, you know, and sometimes in the movies. So it's all just a matter of personal preference. And me personally, my preference is that I do not want to drink alcohol. I don't want to drink alcohol recreationally. I'm not a recreational uh, drug user. I like tea, but even tea, have noticed, you know, if I'm doing that in the city, well, then I got to get back. So then, because I usually have all my water in the morning, and that helps me focus. But then the tea, that can help focus too. But even then, if you do it at the, I don't know, I guess at the wrong time, you're going to have to go to the bathroom a lot. So it's just, you have to think about these things. Alcohol makes you have to go to the bathroom just so much, and just so sick and tired of that. That is not, that's not an example of being active. That is not an example. So yeah, next week is not going to be alcohol off week. Next week is going to be always sober in public week, and that will be my new project. So gonna do that. So I think that is pretty cool too. I don't think that was pretty cool too. So yeah, this has been a pretty good show here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. If anybody has any questions, leave me a comment. If anybody has any questions for me, how to cut back, how to at least cut back, or how to stop cutting back and using that as an excuse, and how to start, or perhaps even restart, which is what I'm doing. I'm not starting, I'm restarting it. How to restart sobriety, how to do that. Any questions anybody has, just let me know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, but I could probably still help you settle this thing. And just I miss sobriety. So that I just said that, boom, right there. I miss sobriety. So alcohol, it can be good, but I miss sobriety. So thanks, guys. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. See you in the next video, and either cut back or skip out entirely, and you will thank me later. Thanks, guys. Ta-ta now, y'all. And take it easy. All right. Have a good week. Thanks. Goodbye. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the week. Thank you. So long. Bye-bye. Bye, Drew. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.